Hi, and welcome to the Hippie Dippy Show. I'm Jeffrey J.
I'm Cassidy Bowker.
And I'm Bo Bowker.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I'm the most excited about who I am.
Oh, I was pretty darn excited about me today.
Yeah, you were pretty excited about you, but like not to judge you or your excitement about you, but it was not as good as mine. No judgment.
I'm just gonna say I don't know, feeling pretty cocky today. You'll be lucky to get a word in.
Whoa, baby.
Just railroad it. What'd
What's
you
the
say?
Jeff?
Oh, now we're already talking over each other. Sorry.
Excuse me? What's got you cocked?
Nothing. Just life is good right now. Life is great. We went I went swimming yesterday and saw both of you for real life in person, like your physical faces,
Yeah,
and touched your bodies and said hello
yeah,
in like a hug form,
yeah.
and saw your children, and we were outside in nature, and everything was just perfect yesterday. It set me up for a good rest of the week.
That's exactly how I felt. Yeah, it was really wonderful to see you, Jeff. And yeah, you came over at 9 a.m. like a farmer or something. Um, and, and yeah, it was really great. Like it just helped level me out and get me out my day off to a great start. Like, and that's just the power of good energy and just yeah, sharing time and physical interaction and just hugs mostly. Uh,
Yeah, hugs are important. A and B, I love y'all's life because there's with twins you have a lot of chaos and that's natural. I think to pat myself on the back and I do like whatever. But I also understand what twin chaos is. And I think that makes it easier when we all understand that our conversations happened in 30-second spurts as one of us is running the other way and we're not making eye contact. Yet at the same time, y'all are dealing with your respective rituals. You trade off and it's really fascinating and lovely to see how you guys trade off and just kind of take the reins from each other. And your handoffs are beautiful. And the fact that you're still caring for yourself in those small snippets that you have while some child is crying or falling or yelling or whatever, or smushing my face or your face or whatever it is. So I would like to say that, yeah, it's beautiful seeing your life. Like, it's wonderful.
Hmm.
what do you think of that?
Thanks, Dave. That's so nice. Yeah. Um, I don't think that, when you're living it, when you're in it, it seems like you're not doing a good enough job or it could be
It
better.
feels like garbage.
Yeah.
No.
And sometimes it does.
Well,
Sometimes
sometimes.
you don't feel good about how you're handling it or how your relationship is going or how your interactions are. And so it's really nice to hear um, an outside perspective and that acknowledgement. It helps us understand. I think for me at least, like, hey, you did a pretty good job. Because also I'm very critical of myself and sometimes of my people.
Yeah. Well, I can see that too. Where you're like, well, there's all these things that I want to do for my perfect morning, but that's just not a possibility. It's just
Yeah.
not. And
Yeah.
but at the same time, you could just skate by, but instead you're making cacao. Cassidy's running errands and doing what she needs to do, and still coming in and then doing this and doing that. And then at the same time, you're taking out these beautiful cards that tell you your intention for the day, and you're still making time for all these little extra things, and then your children get involved with it and have that moment together. And uh there are so many mornings where people just put on the TV, and I'm sure you do that many times, lots and lots of times, but that was not that morning.
Right. No, we do, but we've been much more mindful about that and more structured with it and more like, yeah. Um, more intentional with it, meaning like, all right, look, in the morning, look, you guys can watch a show that's interactive,
Yeah.
right? And then and so it just makes us less lazy about it too. And as a result, I personally feel less guilty when I
True. True, and there's definitely a space for that screen time too. And if you do it too much, then they won't be super focused on it. And you want them to be like, when you put that on, you got 30 minutes of solid me getting stuff done time.
totally exactly.
So,
Yeah.
how are you doing, Cassidy?
I'm doing well. I had a really great time with you yesterday, Jeffrey J. Thank you so much. That was so cool. It's just so nice to see. Um, well, first of all, kids love you, and our
Gosh.
kids in particular are obsessed with you, and they always have been. You know, it's just really amazing and beautiful. And when yes, in our switch off of the day today. So I had to teach yoga. Bo took the kids on a hike. They came back from the hike. I was here making lunch. And then he went to go do a couple of self care type of thing and work things. And then, yeah, and put the kids to nap. But right before I put the kids to nap, I got a message from a phone number that I had not saved in my phone. And it's also I have a wacky area code for living in LA. My area code is 949, which is still Orange County. And hey, I just gave out my area code.
Oh, they only got to guess 7 more numbers.
Anyways,
We'll
hey,
release a number per episode.
just kidding. I was gonna make a funny raffle. Anyway, so so anyways, I got a message from a phone number who has a similar area codes, not LA. And I thought it must be spam, right? When you get those weird area codes that you don't,
Yeah.
no, it's spam. And it was like, hey Cassidy, and so I thought, well, that's kind of interesting, and I clicked on it, and it was one of my friends from high school who we've sort of followed each other through social media, and then recently she ended up coming to one of my breathwork sessions, and she was also pregnant at that time, and then she was going to be having her baby a few days after that, and she did, and so she was just touching in, and she said, I know that you reached out and asked how I was doing. I think I will answer that question by sending you pictures of how we've been doing. And so she just sent me a bunch of pictures, and I was, about
Her and
to,
her husband fighting.
know, you know, of her baby, and yeah, and the day of the birth, and
Her
them
buying a
huddling.
lottery ticket and then being sad she didn't win.
Yeah, and anyways, it was like so emotional when I got all those. They all just, the pictures just started pouring in, pouring in, pouring in, and I'm like, how cool is that? How cool is that? This is the intention of social media, you guys. This is the intention, not just to look at pictures and like them. the
Yeah.
Mm,
I've been really like leaning into the true intention of social media right now. It's social. You're supposed to like interact and not just like. And when I
yeah.
make a post and I want to know how you are doing, I genuinely want to know how you are doing. Um, anyway, so I'm just feeling like a lot of gratitude. And then every time I have like a really beautiful day like we did yesterday, I just feel extra grateful for the people that we do have in our lives. And there was a time in my life, specifically when I did move um, to LA in with Bo, and I didn't know anybody. I was moving almost 3 hours away from my friends in Orange County, and then I was moving almost 4 hours away from my family in San Diego, right? So yeah, every relationship that we have at this point is very, very special and dear to me. Even the relationships that I have the opportunity on occasion to catch up with, and yeah, thank you, Jeff. I'm feeling quite grateful.
Aw, it's amazing. And how cool. I love the social media thing because I just had a similar experience where it's very small, but I'm looking to buy a laptop and there's so much information online. So I put it on Facebook, and I said it's so funny that you said that because I said that to Emma today. I was like, this is what social media is for. If you go on Reddit or somewhere else and you're going, I want to look for laptops, what you're getting is the perspective of everybody who follows laptop stuff. Well, I don't
Mm.
care about that. I want all of my friends with these different experiences on people who also edit things. I need to be able to do Hippie Dippy show. I need to do this and this. So I get all these people with similar experiences that know little to a lot on that. And now this huge conversation is going on my Facebook page that's a shared experiences about this thing that I genuinely need help with. And when you find those little things, it reminds you that social media is, when used correctly, is beautiful and fantastic.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's true. That's a really great point. Yeah, I love that.
So
Yeah,
how are
because
you, Bo?
I
Oh, sorry.
Jeff yesterday that I've caught myself in the last several weeks after developing a much, what I consider a much more healthy relationship with social media, which for me meant barely being on it at all. And in the past at least a month, like I've been like just mindlessly scrolling.
Mm.
Like, I'm bored. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna
Yeah.
open again. It's not even that conscious of a thought. It's just okay, pick up the phone. Like you're just sitting for a minute, and then you just are like, okay, scrolling.
Yeah.
Feed me information about what? I don't even know what I'm looking for, really.
Yeah. And then you
Other
get lost.
information,
Yeah,
like
you get lost down a rabbit hole.
yeah, and I'm like, I'm looking for some stimulation, and that I know for me, um, it's in place of productivity. Like it's in place of dealing with my own information, like dealing with my own creativity or whatever's in here that I could be sifting through and weeding out and letting go of, or jumping on and being like, hey, this is a wonderful thing. Let's put that on paper or whatever the case is. Um, so yeah, maybe that's a call to action for anybody listening is just look at what's your relationship with social media. What does it do for you? What do you feel when you're doing it? When do you turn to it? Like, and what are the good things that you're getting from it? And what are the things that you don't like about it? Because there is both. There are really great things about it, and there are really, really negative energy sucking things about it.
Yeah, for sure. That's a great. I can't wait to. We'll get into it on another episode, but that's a fascinating topic too, about what it does to your spirit and how to
Yeah.
deal with social media and the bombardment, what it does to your focus and all that stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, I have a question.
You in the front.
Does it do that to your focus? Does it do that to your well-being? Like the quote unquote negative things about social media. Does it really do that to you, or do you do that to you? Because if that's what's going on inside of your body, then that's what you're going to receive outside, right? And that's what you're going to receive from that stuff. So inside, I'm tapped into gratitude. So outside, I'm seeing evidence of gratitude. I'm seeing the beauty and the joy in the social media. Um, that's my question.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think it's allowing yourself to be exposed to it for a lot of time, or allowing yourself to
Yeah.
fall into it, and you just get worn down to where now it's like when you watch regular TV and whatever comes on at you, eventually it affects you.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think everything is correct. Meaning, like, um, it's your mindset and what your relationship with yourself is going into it, like, and what are you looking for, and what are you seeking out, like, and yeah, it's like any relationship with anything, in terms of why are you using it? When are you using it? Like any sort of substance, right? Like, look, if you are able to, smoke pot every once in a while or whatever, and like chill out and have a good time, or let loose a little bit more, or get creative a little bit more. Like, if it does that for you, then wonderful, great. If you're doing it when you wake up and before you go to work, and you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
you're doing it as an escape or in search of something outside of yourself, then yeah, then it's not a great
That's a
thing.
great point. Yeah. Social
Yeah,
media is just like pot. Do you
yeah,
do it right?
and have a good time.
Yeah. Or does social media make you paranoid?
Ooh, ooh, yeah.
Well,
See,
does social media make you paranoid? Is this is gonna get this is kind of a big question. Is it the is it the alcohol that's the problem, or is it the way that you're using the alcohol?
that's what I'm
Like, is the
saying.
problem within? Yeah, yeah.
It's your relationship
I
with
know, I
it,
know, but
and yeah,
we're saying you guys are saying two different things. You guys are saying if you are allowing blah 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 blah, then it is bad. But it's still not the thing that it's bad. It's your relationship. It's
sure,
whatever's going on within you. It's, for example, like in the Course in Miracles, which is a mindfulness or an unminding kind of course. I would say it's a little bit of both. In the very first lesson, nothing I see means anything. So social media means nothing. It really means nothing. I assign meaning to everything that I see. So yeah, I'm
right.
just trying to clear.
No. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
It's what you're bringing to it. I'm
Hmm.
bringing whatever my perspective is to it. And honestly, I think it's the same thing with pot. Like when I first smoked pot, like it was like fun and hilarious and great. And then one day, I didn't know what it was. I thought like I just had a bad experience, but like what I realized years later, what it was, the feeling I was having was, oh, I had panic attacks. I would have panic attacks when I would get high. And like, and so it's not like, hey, pot gives me panic attacks. No, it just brings it out of me. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So to your point, it's it is highlighting. It is, and my brother says the same thing about alcohol. My brother, is a recovering alcoholic, and doing wonderfully well, for which we're all very grateful for. And he said this the other day. He's like, "Well, it's a mood. I think he said mood enhancer, but I think it's a mood amplifier. Is what he was trying to get to. He's
Yeah.
like whatever you've got going on, it's gonna amplify it. So if you're
Yeah.
angry or depressed or whatever, you're gonna be more of that when you're
Yeah.
drinking. And so yeah, so I think pot, at least for me, has been a similar thing, where it's like, oh, whatever space I'm in emotionally and mentally and things like that, spiritually, like it's going to amplify that and play that out a little bit more and bring some more of that stuff out. And yeah, so to your point, and this is what I was trying to say, which is, yeah, if I, if I am more paranoid and like, because I experienced that personally during during all the quarantine stuff, and when the George Floyd things first started, kicking off, like on social media, it was like, okay, I found myself scrolling. It's like, I want to see things that like feed my narrative. And it was like some tiny little appeasement when I would find something that's like, oh, that agrees with me. Great. Nice. And then and and then I would find a million things that didn't agree with my narrative and my opinions. And I'd be like, I no,
The
I
whole
like,
world has gone crazy.
yeah, exactly. And so yeah, I think it just, there was chaos within me and conflict within me, and that's what I was
Yeah,
seeing outside of me, because yeah,
that's beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah. I
Well,
thank you guys. I just wanted to stir up some like accountability rather than blame and like labeling things bad, like loosen that up and stuff. So
Yeah, no, and that's
I appreciate. I see where you're coming
and so
from.
my point too was just evaluate it.
Yeah.
See what is working for you and what's not working for you with
Yeah.
with social media, and like we're getting to basically, which is it will shed light, I think, on your relationship with yourself. You know,
Yeah. Good point.
to suck on that, Facebook Zuckerberg.
That's how we get banned on the podcast network.
Ah,
um. So I'm drinking cacao. What are y'all drinking?
Oh, just some cacao.
Mine has
It's
your
part two.
mine has your big fat face on it.
Oh my gosh.
Who am I
That's
with?
cute. Is that
Oh,
is that Deanne? Is that her name?
Yeah.
I love
that's
that.
a trip you guys took.
Oh my God,
cool.
that's so funny. I thought that was my ex-girlfriend from high school.
Oh my God.
Dude.
Yeah. I did a deep dive on your Facebook and then printed a set of mugs with
Oh
you
my
and all
God.
I like that you think I'm young enough that my high school girlfriend and I had pictures on Facebook.
Yeah, me too.
That's
Same thing.
hilarious.
Yeah, when I was in high school that we didn't even have Facebook.
No,
No,
we didn't have
exactly.
Facebook.
No.
No, we went on a trip to New York and they made these cups for us and sent them to us.
Heck yeah, man.
And I own 3 mugs and this is one.
I
This is
love
one
it.
of the 3 mugs. So I drink out of this mug constantly. So if they're around, hopefully they will know that they're a huge part of my morning.
That's great. Teresa sent me a birthday text. Isn't that nice? These
Aww.
are people like that we became friends with through an old podcast that we used to do.
Mm-hmm. Good news, bad
And
news.
yeah. Um, and yeah, and they've remained wonderful friends. And yeah, it's just really great. We don't get to talk that often, but again, I get to see them on social media, and that's a wonderful thing. Where I'm like, hey, look, man, there's babies.
I know. Children have been born into this world since we knew them. And back then we were all partiers, including myself. I got real drunk on this trip.
You really did.
I really did. I got so drunk and did karaoke. And I am terrified of karaoke.
Are you really?
Terrified of it.
We sang pretty poorly. You did. Jeff sang Under the Sea, which
Yeah.
was one of the funniest things I've seen in a long time. And you could probably get canceled for that now, Jeff, because you did the accent.
Perhaps. I did
no
a
accents
very
allowed
heavy
anymore.
Jamaican accent.
It was so great. The
Uh,
accent as the crowd was so great.
I know.
Oh,
But that's what I'm talking about. Like, how beautiful, Jeff. You're going to sip cacao through that mug, cacao heart opening plant medicine, through that mug of a beautiful, fun, silly, chapter of life.
Yeah. I know. I love it. I look for mugs now. I only have 3 of them and I need more. I look for them now because when I first drank cacao with you, you were like, pick your mug. And I was like, what? The mug has a meaning. And I don't even remember what they said, but you have some mugs that are so bad good. I think one of them's like one of those like, yeah, you've got one I think, and I'm gonna completely get it wrong, but it's like my other husband is a cat or something like that.
Oh,
That's like
my
cat.
next.
My next husband will be normal.
Yeah.
Is that really it?
Yeah, that was my mother's mug.
Mine was way better. My other husband is.
It's a cat.
I'm gonna make those mugs now.
Oh my
so
god.
funny.
But I love it because then the other one I have, oh, this is my other one, is the little things in life. And then the other one says like make today matter or something like that. And I will look at it now because of you and I'll say, how am I feeling today? Am I feeling like, because one of them is intentional. One of them is like make today matter. And I'm like, if I don't want that pressure, I won't choose that mug.
That's so
And
funny.
then this one is the little things in life, which was obviously my today one, because I was like, I've got a lot to do, but I need to be okay with what I don't get done. So I'm gonna choose.
That's great.
And then we ended up with this goofy thing as the third mug. I've used all three of my mugs today.
Oh my God, that's hilarious because we made Jeff OCD about it.
I did.
That's hilarious. Who told Jeff that the mug has meaning?
You did.
We
I
told him
did?
to, yeah, you told him
Well,
to
I
pick
just feel
his
like just
mug.
pick the one that resonates with you. I don't know. It's just
Yes, and I'm like, this is gonna change my whole day.
I did.
That's a different way of saying it. Pick the one that resonates with you means, oh my gosh, this matters. They're
I
like,
will now, and this is a brand new thing because Cacao has come into my life recently. In the past 2 months or whatever, I now will look at my mugs and I'll be like, I need to watch this one because this is this mug today.
I drink out of a pink one because that is the color of the heart chakra.
I love it.
And so green or pink, either color works for the heart chakra color.
That's
So
cool.
I want to get more into my heart space, which is what Cacao helps you with. One of the things that Cacao helps you with. And this is part 2 in a 2-part expose special report on
Yeah.
Cacao.
And our cacao stuff, by the way, is going to be a forever parts thing. So many things are going to come out about cacao that, like, we're A, not going to get to today, and B, I'm currently going through it, and my mother is beginning her journey very poorly because she accidentally bought cocoa butter. And
That's so
Cacao
funny.
butter or cocoa butter?
cacao butter.
It was
Just
cacao
smearing it
butter.
all over.
Yeah, the picture she said, "Is this it? I got it." And Jeffrey J showed me the text. It was cacao butter, just the butter.
Mama J, you blew it.
She-
Wait, so what's wrong with that?
Well, it's just like, for example, okay, this recipe calls for, well,
Coconuts?
a coconut, right?
Yeah.
You need shredded coconut to make macaroons, right?
Yeah,
Okay, I just have some coconut oil. Can I use that instead?
got it. So
It just,
she can't make a cup of coconut butter.
I
She
mean,
can't
what would
make
you? I mean,
macaroons.
sounds like she could eat like just I don't know what you do. What do you even do with that? You
That's
put in,
why I'm curious, because she's like, I'm so sad. I'm like, so I immediately shipped out. I bought a brick from you, and I immediately went to USPS and shipped her. That sounded like a plug.
No, I know. I was gonna say, new sponsor, you guys. We're sponsored by the USPS. They're getting pretty desperate. They're sponsoring our show.
I went to the United States Postal Service and used their premium FedEx packaging. No, anyways, I shipped it to her, and now it still doesn't look like it's gonna get there in time. But if it does, I went ahead and shipped her my brick because A, I felt bad, and B, I'm gonna be in Denver and she's gonna take your cacao class, so she may be there without cacao, but
That's okay.
yeah.
By the time you hear this, the class or the breathwork cacao session will have already workshop will
Yeah.
have already taken place. So you missed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure. Will there be more?
Many more.
Yeah, because I'm excited to do it, and I was
Soul Scene Healing.
Yeah. I was really sad that I wasn't gonna make it because that combination sounds really cool, and we're literally on a plane at that moment. I was trying to see if there's any way. I'm like, can I just get to Denver first, or can I do it beforehand? But we're flying like right then.
Wouldn't it be so funny, Jeffrey J, if you just if you just reclined your little chair 1 inch and you started tapping into the breath work right there, and you're like, excuse me, can I have a pillow?
Also, putting out the most breath I could possibly put out on an airplane, terrified of COVID.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Oh my
That's so
goodness
funny.
gracious.
That's a way to get a plane grounded for sure.
Absolutely. We don't have a ton of time left on this episode, do we? How much? I can leave early if you guys would like to go. I have an appointment listeners.
Do you? What's your appointment? Tell us.
I got to go talk to ladies. I got to go talk to some ladies about my my dad's fate.
Oh.
They're not hitmen, okay?
Oh, okay.
They're
Nursing home,
it's a
you guys.
skilled nursing facility, and so we're just talking about how he's doing in there and what plan is for his health and his discharge. And
Got it.
not like a
He's got a
discharge.
lot of discharge, yeah.
No, not like a milky
Yeah.
discharge or
Yeah.
anything like that.
You guys, okay.
Sorry. Sorry.
I'm sorry that my dad's discharge is so milky that he had to go to a skilled nursing facility for it. I'm sorry we can't all have a perfectly clear discharge. God,
Oh my God.
you know,
This is lovely.
this is my father's.
You know what? Look, if this is how Bo copes by repeatedly saying the D word over and over again, I can't even say it. It's too much. It's
Milky?
Hey, and my friend Jeffrey J.
Some say it's what killed my mother.
Oh my God.
We don't know yet.
Okay.
Oh God.
Years.
I get a real.
Yeah. You know what? Ooh, it is. I think it's time for you should head out so you're not late.
You have 2 minutes.
No, yeah, I mean it's y'all's call on that. Because I am a little nervous to start it because I have so many questions about Cacao.
Don't be nervous. Here's what we'll do. Let's do. Why doesn't she's scared? Why don't we do a little ceremony to walk people through what it can look like? Because look, it can take all shapes and colors. But let's see what a little ritual might look like. Partaking in a group in cacao ritual ceremony situation.
Do I need face paint?
You do.
Just all right. So
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you for that great introduction, you guys. I love you.
what?
Nothing. I'm teasing you because
Oh.
the last episode we were talking about introductions. This is how we end up in our fun improv game.
Oh yeah.
Do it again.
I know. I really actually, when Jeffrey J was saying something, I thought, ooh, a new improv game. I said, okay, Sal, I know we're supposed to keep it contained. And then this guy starts talking about discharge. And I want to talk about a memory that I had, which I will just say real quick.
Excuse me?
All right.
Remember when I was in nursing school and I would come home and tell you all the fun things that I saw and experienced, and I was like, you understand that this is a mucous membrane and this is a mucous membrane and this is a mucous membrane, and you were like, ah, and now here you are talking all every which way about discharge.
She told me the story about a guy's open butt.
Okay, enough. Okay, cut.
HIPAA. HIPAA. That was actually an X. That wasn't in nursing school.
Ew.
I'm protecting you, Cassidy, from lawsuit. Go with it. Now you're stuck in this story.
I didn't give a name, an address, a date of birth.
It's sounding more and more like you did. All right, this is lovely. Okay, so you're wearing a white shirt. I would feel self-conscious or nervous about holding my cup to my chest if I were you.
No, that's okay. That's because I don't mind.
Do you do that? Do you hold it to your chest?
Yeah, I do. I do. And I like that you mentioned that, Jeffrey Day, to feel the warmth against your heart. Yeah, I really appreciate that. So, you guys, it's so simple. It can be so simple or it can be elaborate. Whatever you want, it can be. That is your ritual with cacao. And so you will want to craft your cup, and we will be posting recipes on how to do that. Maybe you're working not with a warm mug of cacao. Maybe you're working with an iced drink, an iced cacao drink. Maybe you're working with sort of like an edible, right? So we have a recipe for bliss balls that we can put out for you. So whatever you're working with, maybe if you're just eating the beans themselves, take a moment, find some silence, maybe some stillness, and maybe that just has to be within, right? If you're in a type of environment like we are most days with babies running around, and that's okay. So you just show up just the way that you are. You take your cacao in your hands. Maybe you draw your cup into your heart into your cup. And then take that moment to call in the spirit of cacao, which is symbolic of cacao's energy and intention and essence, and that is love. Unconditional love, compassionate love, graceful love, grateful love. And then maybe take a deep breath there. And then exhale. Try to release some of that energy from unserving thought patterns, maybe any resistance, any anger, any hurt, any frustration. Try to lighten your load just a little bit. And then you may want to set an intention for your first sip. You may want to set an intention for your day. Maybe you're just simply grounding in gratitude for whatever is, and then you take your first sip there. You notice the flavor, the texture, the warmth, the sensation in your mouth. Maybe you hold your cup closer to your nose and breathe in some of that loving intention and energy, the warmth from this plant spirit and medicine. And then I like to take a moment of silence, of gratitude for the lineage from which this plant has been passed down. All of the lives that were lost in this process, right? In the colonialization of chocolate and in communities in general.
And to those who kept the seeds alive.
Yeah.
I always like to honor those ancestors that kept this lineage going, kept Mama Cacao alive.
And then extend another deep breath of great reverence throughout your body, throughout the cup, throughout Mama Cacao, throughout that lineage, and then take another sip. So your ritual can look something like this. Maybe each sip with intention. Maybe you just lay your foundation, call out what you are open and willing to receive, and then you just drink your cup right away. Maybe you play some music while you're cutting or shaving your chocolate. It doesn't have to be rigid. It doesn't have to look like this. So we're just sort of taking it a little slower to lean into, yes, that gratitude and to show you one way, right? Just one way. And there are infinite possibilities out there of how your ceremony can look. Maybe you drink your cacao before some yoga, a meditation, perhaps before work, before a date. Yeah, that's fun. Open heart in your date.
Yeah,
right?
going all horny.
Before or after a conversation with your partner, you know, or with somebody that might where speaking from your heart more will help. I think I've mentioned this maybe even on the last podcast, where Cassidy and I have had like disagreements or heated conversations in the morning, and then, you know, because of the flow of the day, the next thing I ended up doing was going and doing my little cacao ritual and just centering into that heart space. And like that's a thing for me too, like messages flow through, like, and that's part of my ritual is in the beginning when I'm talking, you know, to Mama Cacao, I am calling her spirit in, and giving gratitude to all that she is. I let her know that I'm open and that I'm ready for whatever messages she may have for me. And inevitably they always come, and like something will pop in, and I think, you know, sometimes we chalk things up. We're like, oh yeah, I had this thought. and I guess I'm just more in a place now of being more mindful, and being more open, and I'm just recognizing things as messages more, recognizing that it's not my brain all the time. Certainly my brain is still active, but still got some thoughts and ideas. But like, but yeah, when things are really coming through, I can recognize where it is more divine. And yeah, and so there's been moments like that have really shed light on how I can better approach conversations, and where I was wrong and where I need to. And inevitably, it always comes. The message is always, oh, just be in your heart, come from love, like deal with Cassidy in love, like have love for her, have empathy for her, hold space for her, instead of like my mind that's like, yeah, that she freaking said that thing. She knew what she was doing.
And here's the thing, even when that comes up, because that will come up, because it is a heart opening drink, elixir, medicine, whatever you want to call it. It is an amplifier. Yeah. So if that's the place that you're at, you're drinking, you might need to purge those emotions. You may need to, you might feel really triggered, like, and maybe the problems that you think you have with that other person or whatever's going on in your current circumstances, you'll feel them, and you might want to cry, you might be angry, right? Maybe frustrated, but at the same time, it's this. I really try to lean into those sensations when it comes up. I'm like, what? I just drank this heart-opening medicine. I thought I was supposed to be grounded and in a super good place.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? You are in a super good place because your energy needs to be felt. Your energy needs to be experienced. And so right now is the time to feel that. And this is the best thing that's going to serve you. So feel it all, spew it all out, get it out maybe in a journal, or ask your partner's permission to share it, right? And then mindfully affirm once you're done that I know that this is going to serve my highest good and purpose right now, our highest good and purpose. Let's work together to find the reason, what is the reason for this?
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah,
And
this is not fixing you, it's opening you.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. And yeah, I think you said on the last episode something that Keith of Keith's Cacao, the chocolate shaman, says that cacao will bring you, to the threshold, to the doorway, but it won't push you through. You've got to do that work on your own. And that's what I want to share before I have to go, which is like the reason why I talk about cacao so much, and is because it means so much to me. It like cacao has done so much for my my work in terms of like, and when I say work, I mean like healing myself, and getting in touch with things, and facing them with my heart instead of my ego. And it's caused me to just be more attuned to the vibration of love and come from that place. It's caused me to be more in love with myself and with life. And again, it didn't push me through that doorway, but it certainly opened up my heart. And I like to, I've really become into chakras, and I can really feel my heart. And like when I hold my cup to my chest, like, and I'm starting to breathe in the beginning, like I hear and feel my heart pounding, like, and it's like ready for this medicine. Like I feel it every single day, and it's so freaking powerful. And like, and that's why I interjected. I hope you didn't mind, like the thing about the keeping the seeds alive, because that's a phrase that I learned from my friend Chip and his person that he works a lot with, who we've mentioned before, Martine Prechtel, or Prechtel, and that's a phrase of his, is keep the seeds alive. And it's this idea of keeping the seeds alive for future generations so that they may sprout these seeds of hope in a time beyond our own. That's something that he wrote to me in a book that he signed for me, and as a gift from Chip. I love you, Chip. And that has stuck with me, metaphorically, just keeping the seeds alive, and in this case, literally keeping the seeds alive of cacao. And yeah, I don't know. It's just the one thing about cacao, not the one thing because I've said a million things, is that it will just help you get into that heart space. It will bring your emotions from here up to your throat and ready to come out. And that is such a cool gift and such a cool thing to feel happen. And yeah.
That's so cool. And if I can just say one thing about how I feel right now is that I was exhausted and I have so much to do and I have had so much to do and I was up at 4:30 and I was so daunted by the things that I still have to do and I am so excited to continue on my day. Something I'm just creatively wired but not coffee wired. So
Yeah. And it's a big difference,
It's
right?
a difference.
yeah, I know you have to go, Bo, but this was lovely, and I'm so glad we got to have this time together, especially right after we just had time together, because I feel like it builds.
Yeah. Snowball effect.
Yeah.
And not,
I love you.
I love you. I got to go this way.
Oh, gotta go this.
Sorry. You guys can keep this podcast
Do
going.
y'all live in a plane?
Honey, I guess I don't know what's going on. That is really funny. Here's a wall.
Oh yeah, that's amazing. Do you want to close this out, Cassidy, with a nice little moment of gratitude and
Sure. Did you? I will just offer this to Jeopardy. Did you? You said you had some questions. Do you still have questions?
I
Or
do. I just didn't know if you like had time and or babies are waking up or whatever, and I didn't know if we wanted to get into it just because I feel like I get so excited about it. So it's your call. Do you want to do a question or two like that I might have had or?
yeah, just go ahead.
Okay, cool. So, all right. Well, now you have to think about what my questions were again. So my first, okay, hold on. Let me gather my thoughts because you did an Instagram thing on cacao, and as you were doing it, my mind started just going crazy on questions I wanted to ask about cacao and certain things. So and also I'm going to end up giving something away if I talk about it. But uh, one, what are the things that you put in your cacao, and is there a reason for it, and does it change? And how did you get there? I mean, that's a lot of questions, but
Yeah.
it could be simplified, I suppose.
Yeah, easy answer. So the traditional recipe or way of preparation was just water, cacao, and then a little bit of pepper, like a chili pepper,
Yeah,
right? So maybe some cayenne, maybe some chili powder, something like that.
got it.
And that's it. Mix it all up because the pepper is what's important. The chili pepper powder is what's important because that helps activate the active, when you consume it, it helps activate it within your body.
Mm. Is it kind of like with spinach and so there's a thing with spinach and citrus? If you eat spinach and citrus together, that you absorb more of the nutrients in the spinach when you. That's why there's like a Chinese, you know, citrus salad or Chinese chicken salads have spinach and citrus. It's because it actually helps you digest the nutrients. Is it like that, where like your body, there's certain things it digests, or?
Yeah, that's a well said example, well used example. And that also I did not know. I will lean into that and try that out because
Yeah,
I eat all the time.
yeah. Eat some oranges when you eat spinach.
How funny, Jeff. That's so cool. Yeah, it's something similar. And to build on that, so the chili pepper powder is really great, right? Um, and then also something that you want to avoid is dairy. So you don't want to use milk, right? And
Okay, yeah, that's something that was interesting to me because cocoa always made with milk, and when you think of cocoa drinks, you immediately think milk or dairy.
yeah,
But no, so no milk. So does that mean what about almond milks and things like that?
yeah. So nut milks are great. So almond milk is wonderful. Macadamia nut milk is wonderful. Hemp milk is great. Cashew milk. I mean, you could play with all of those, just different flavors,
You
right? And
don't need it though. I make mine with water and it tastes so creamy and thick. I can't really even imagine it with a thick cream.
yeah, I kind of like it. And actually every day, most days I use water and I just use a whisk I add a little bit of water. Once I shave off what I'm using that day, add a little bit of water, make a paste, right? That water is warm, never boiling,
Mm.
never ever boiling. That's too hot, so just steaming. And make a paste and then add the remainder of your liquid, depending on how thick or thin you would like your cacao to be. And yeah, but if I really want like an extra cozy, extra special, really, really yummy, I'm like treating myself to this cup, I just need like an extra oomph of self care that day, then I like to add the nut milk. So some
Mm.
people use nut milk every day and no big deal. It's not going to change anything really, right? Unless you're looking for like the nutritional benefits of whatever nut milk you're using. If you make your own nut milks, that can be quite nutritional to your benefit, right? So traditional recipe, just water, cacao, and a little bit of chili pepper powder. And then what I use and what a lot of people do is people aren't quite ready for that, because there's absolutely no sugar there,
Mm.
right? So I'm like weaning myself off of sugar. And in the beginning, I felt so guilty about adding sugar. I wanted to honor the tradition. And you know what? To be quite honest, it's okay, right? Because I'm me, and this is a unique expression within me. And if I want a little bit of honey, wonderful. It's not a big deal. Mama Cacao, in the all loving, compassionate, graceful spirit that she doesn't care. She's not here to judge you, right? So as long as, I would just say if you really want the nutritional benefits, and you're not going to load it up with sugar, but a little bit, like a half a teaspoon or so of honey, or a teaspoon of honey, and then maybe even if not honey, like coconut sugar is another really great version of sugar, some type of natural sweetener is nice. And then I like to add some cinnamon. I like to add, and that's just my own personal preference, right? I think cinnamon is very feminine. And so I
Yeah.
like to put a lot in there because I tend to be in my masculine, like go, go, go.
Ooh.
And
I love cinnamon. I put cinnamon in just about everything, and I put cinnamon in mine every time.
yeah. Yeah, and then other things you add are just honestly for taste, whatever you want to do. I've seen some people add matcha. I've seen some people add different types of mushrooms. We like to add mushrooms. Again, that's just for the nutritional benefits of them, um, like lion's mane or reishi or chaga, something like that. You can add anything really. If you're blending it up, I've seen some people blend in some blueberries or some blackberries. My friend Christian, when he was over here recently, he was making us our cacao, and he blended it up, and he was really excited, and he gave it to me. He said, "What do you think?" And I tasted it, and it was a banana. He put a banana in there. It was so thick and delicious and creamy, and he's like, "This is like a whole meal. It's
Yeah,
so much nutrients, and it's a whole meal at this point." It
that's
was phenomenal.
I did a cold cacao smoothie with banana, and that one I did use almond milk in. It was when I first got that little bag of cacao, and I was kind of playing with it. And I think it was a hot day or something, and I looked up all these recipes, and I did that as a cold smoothie, and it was so good. That little bit of banana. But there was that moment in the back of my head where I was like, is this cheating? I'm like, why would I think that putting a banana in here is cheating? Why?
Right. I totally understand that thought, right? Totally. It's like it's almost coming from the ego at that point, right? Because the ego is like, oh no, I'm doing this wrong.
Yeah, I don't need ranch dressing on my carrots.
But it's okay, right? I would say that the only thing about that is that when you're drinking your cacao, to really fully absorb and receive all of the benefits of it, you want to drink your cacao on an empty stomach. So the more things you're adding into it, the effects maybe might become a little bit less depending on the sensitivity in your body. But some people need that, right? Because some people are really, really, really sensitive. And so I say lesser dose. And then, yeah, maybe you add in like some, like a banana or something like that. Maybe you do try it in a smoothie form first.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, because I could see that. Maybe that's why I feel so amazing right now because I haven't eaten anything yet today, and and so I'm like, the world is my oyster at this moment. um, well, this was wonderful, and I think this is. I know we'll end up talking about whatever we end up talking about next week, but I'm sure cacao will be another thing because then I'll be back and I'll have my brick from you since I sent the other one to my mother. Um, and then I want to, this will be fun to play with, I think, over the next month because when I get back from Denver, my plan is to do cacao every day. And I'm curious to see and use my bullet journal and everything to kind of track how I feel and how I'm doing it differently. Um, because every time I've tried cacao, I've never really been super like, all right, this is gonna be my lifestyle now. I just love it. But lately, doing it regularly, I've been feeling so good. I just thought, why don't I do like, an entire brick daily? Not an entire brick every day, but get a brick, do it every day until that brick is done to its entirely. See how I feel and see what happens in that journey, and it could be really, really fun and spiritual. And I don't know, it could be a cool little experiment.
Hmm. And there's something to be said about that. And this is the last thing that I'll wrap up on is that it's like when you're building a habit, right? Or in the sense, it's not just that you're building a habit, you're actually trying something on for your body, like within yourself, spiritually, physically, emotionally, all of the things, all of the dimensions and levels. And to just do it once, you may be in your head that whole entire time, like really seeking and searching, trying to see, am I getting it? Am I getting it? Give yourself some time. So this is why even in plant medicine, you go on these journeys for like days in a row, because the more that is in your system, the more you begin to open to it and receive and reap the benefits and experience and explore. So yeah, so I fully support that. It's a cacao dieta.
That's a
Yes.
great point. I didn't even think about that part of it, but it's like with when you start doing morning journaling, when you're in your first even week, all you're doing is hitting the surface level stuff. It's not until you've been doing it that you get through all the levels of junk at the top that you start seeing what you're really feeling come out. And so it'll be really interesting. And also there's a lot of detox and things. So I'll be, less either lessening or going without coffee too. So there'll be a detox period. It'll be interesting. I'm curious to see how my poop is. Says because I definitely see that effect when I drink cacao. So let's see how it, you know, normalizes. It'll be an adventure.
So
Our own little like supersize me with cacao.
yeah,
Um,
cool.
this is lovely. Do you want to send us off with just a moment of gratitude? I know we've hit so much gratitude today with the cacao, but
We have
just in case someone was driving and didn't get to have that moment.
sure, absolutely. I'm sitting here on two chairs, you
I
guys.
love
Can
it.
you see the two chairs?
It makes you look really thin.
It's so funny. I feel like kind of like I'm at an amusement park in one of those really huge chairs, like I'm a little girl just
Yeah,
in my feet in my little
like
chair.
like in like your good man Charlie Brown, where they have giant chairs.
um, Yes. So, listeners, thank you so much for all of your questions, all of your comments, all of your love, all of your shares. Thank you so much for showing up, for liking and subscribing, and following us on this journey as our journey unfolds. And maybe you take a moment here to close down your eyes if that is safe or comfortable in your body. If not, perhaps you look out in front of you, find an object to fix your gaze upon. We call this your drishti, your focus point. And then take a deep breath, fill up through the belly, the chest, heart space, feel your side ribs expand, and then exhale, open mouth, sigh. Another breath like this. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, open mouth, sigh. On this last round of breath, I want you to be mindful of a visualization of sorts. And envision that in all of the air that is all around you right here, right now, on each little molecule, there rides potential, there lives potential. So go ahead and take a little breath here and then empty out completely. Empty out completely, completely, completely. And begin to inhale through the nose. Noting your willingness to receive potential, noting your willingness to receive possibility, noticing your willingness to receive loving guidance and universal support, and then exhale, open mouth, sigh. Good. Go ahead and blink your eyes open or expand your gaze. Loop your shoulder heads up, back, down, and around. And thank you so much for joining us today. We love you. We're grateful for you. And cheers to Mama Cacao.
Bye, guys.
Bye.